which is the second reporting tool, which is called RPA Supervisor. So let me just sum it up what we heard so far. We heard 4 client stories, very interesting stories. We could see different approaches to the reporting and performance monitoring. Then we heard about a product called Robolytics. And before we go to the last section, I'm going to present another tool which offers excellent features for your reporting. Not only reporting, but let me go further. And I believe that you remember our March workshop. If you attended it, I described RPA Supervisor and its major features. In today's presentation, I will introduce the free RPA reporting products. We have been working with Eric, who is CEO behind these products, how to actually enable some of the features of RPA Supervisor to our client base, so that they can play with it, they can see the advantage of RPA Supervisor features which it brings. So before I jump into that free reporting option, let me set the scene. So in recent years, the companies actually automated repetitive and time-consuming human tasks, and that's great. However, managing the digital workforce remains largely manual task. Very often during our introduction of RPA to new client environment, very often people forget that robots need to be managed in very similar way as people. You need to give robots their task. You need to monitor whether they are doing the right thing and whether they are doing it at the right time. And just to explain or describe it in Blue Prism words, in Blue Prism, what Blue Prism offers, the control room, what it offers, we still have to do static scheduling. You know, we can't actually somehow easily translate SLA agreements, which business may require from RPA operations. We still have to translate it into complex and static schedules. And it's pretty simple and easy at the beginning when you jump on RPA journey, when you have several processes. But if the number of processes is growing, this is becoming quite challenging situation. The same applies for monitoring the operations. Again, when you are starting small, you say, I can handle that, you know, I can handle my robots. I have 1, 2, 3 robots, but you can imagine what is going to happen when you grow. Your robots are 6, 10, 15, 30, 50. Then the monitoring is really challenging and almost impossible to handle in one person. And it's it's starting to be time consuming and complex. You need to monitor whether your priority queues are processed. If not, assign a new digital workforce to be processed, stop another queue. So that it's really becoming quite challenging task. And that's not all, because then the issues are happening, you know. The system exceptions, business exceptions, email may not be working, and so on. And again, monitoring and issues handling is becoming very complicated and complex task. And we are not talking about 24/7, because you can imagine that, yeah, I want my robots to be running 24/7 because I want to utilize the license which I purchased as much as I can. But if you want to run 24/7, then there are requirements on your RPA operation team somehow to be available 24/7, to be monitoring and solving the issues which can appear, like the robot goes down, or the robot went into log off status, and we need to log in it somehow manually or something like that. And then the last but not least, and this is related to our today webinar, that's reports and notifications, because if you want to present how your robotic workforce is helping actually to the business, how many tasks, how many man hours were delivered back to the business instead of hiring new staff or actually working overtime, that's also important, because it helps your RPA team to promote the RPA approach within your organization. So it's again very important. And to the management, the management usually, or maybe every time or always, want to see what is the saving which is coming from the RPA implementation. So these are all challenges which are there if you have what we call manual RPA management. And fortunately, there is a solution for all those challenges, and that is called RPA Supervisor. And here are some of the things which RPA Supervisor does, and there is definitely even more. But shortly, you don't need to take care of scheduling, because you, with RPA Supervisor, you define what you are used to and what business wants from you, and that is SLA. You just define SLA, and RPA Supervisor transforms it into the proper scheduling and proper loading appropriate number of resources to handle the workload which is coming into your queue. At the same time, RPA Supervisor is able to do prioritization and optimization, because if you have several SLA parameters and there are different queues and number of items being processed, you need to calculate how to prioritize, how to make prioritization and optimize the workload. On top of that, RPA Supervisor, not in the free version, offers also built-in connectors for Microsoft Automate platform or Human in the Loop, and some additional features. Of course, live dashboards are a must, and notifications as well, and that will, at that topic I will be focusing in my following slides. Of course, monitoring and solving issues in production is part of RPA Supervisor, because RPA Supervisor can log in automatically, can reboot the machines and unlock the frozen sessions. Last but not least, the implementation is really easy, and your existing processes can be onboarded as is. So let me show you the transformation from your manual RPA management to digital, where in the manual the person is sitting and have to actually look at all the digital workforce, all the queues, all the items, and take care of that. In digital RPA management, you are just looking at RPA Supervisor and notifications coming from that, and you define SLA within RPA Supervisor. So it's much easier life for someone who is sitting at control room and watching the robots working. So the RPA Supervisor actually manages your workforce, and RPA Supervisor is using algorithms and event handling capabilities to continuously optimize your workforce and RPA infrastructure. When I'm talking about RPA infrastructure, I'm referring that the machines can be rebooted, the machines can be shut down, and so on and so forth. So now I'm going to describe actually the what is covered in free RPA reporting product. So now I describe you what RPA Supervisor can bring to your RPA team, to your RPA operation, how it can make your life easier. And here is the 3 versions of RPA Supervisor. And I will just shortly describe. There is an enterprise version which covers all the features. There is single sign-on, human in the loop, integration with Microsoft Power Automate integration, and all other features which are part of standard and free. The price is for 10 robotic licenses. Then we have a standard price which also includes 10 licenses and is limited to 10 users, and contains, of course, all the reporting and process triggering and automated orchestrations. In the free version, which is something which I believe is a very good start point for every RPA operation because it's for free, it contains all the reporting. So you can get all the reports which I'm going to present in the next slide. You are getting the monitoring, you are getting a notification in the application, and RPA Supervisor e-learning. As part of the free version, there is limited access to the following premium features, and that is SLA-based scheduling, response time-based prioritization, and the rest what you can see. What is really good about this free version? First, you get all the reporting and monitoring within the package, and you can set up your SLAs as if you were using full RPA Supervisor, and you will get information about what SLA might have been breached in case that you have high volumes. So if you go with the free version and you set it up right, you can look at how your license utilization is used, what is the trend, and so on. But let me just go to the next slide. So what is contained in RPA Supervisor Dashboard is, there is no limitations on the number of dashboards which you can define. There is access control on a dashboard and process level, and you can define your public and private dashboards. There is at this moment more than 40 widgets which will display value reporting, utilization, some operational parameters, and exceptions. And again, widgets can be filtered excuse me, based on the processes, resources, time, and SLAs parameters. So here is an example of a dashboard for operations where I believe that very interesting information is the chart displaying license utilization. I have been talking to our clients, and everybody was saying we would like to see our trend, how our licenses are utilized during the day, over the time. So all this information can be found when using RPA Supervisor. And as we saw, this is the standard. You want to know how many hours were delivered to the business. Again, you can choose in 30 days, 90 days, how many items were completed, referred, created. So all this is part of that free RPA Supervisor version. So here is another snapshot of the widgets which can report the value which the robot or robotic workforce delivered to the business over the time. Again, very nice representation which you can show to your business users. And the utilization which I was describing before, there is the license utilization, which is real time yesterday or 90 days average. So this gives you very nice insight into what is going on in your environment and whether you are at the edge of your license utilization, or whether there is still some space and you can deploy more processes, or you should consider consider buying additional licenses. So yes, because we are running short of time, so I will skip some slides. So you may have you may have questions, or you may be thinking about, well, this is great opportunity, how I can significantly improve my reporting capability and how I can present to business very easily various parameters. But you know how complicated it is to set up this within your environment so that you can collect all those parameters. The answer is that it's really very simple. When we install RPA Supervisor, we just define a new workflow, as you see here. So we click on the Add button, we define a new workflow, we give it a new name, and then we set up our operational parameters through adding a task. And a task is a representation of your Blue Prism process. So you can give a task a name, you can set up a response time, you can set up working hours, resource groups, but for the reporting purposes, this is not so important because you are just collecting the data. However, it's very interesting to set it up in a way which is related to your SLA, which your business may ask you for, because you define those parameters and then you get notification from RPA Supervisor whether there is a danger of breaching the SLA or whether you are fine. So even if with the free version, you can set up your environment as if it is operating on the SLA basis, and you will see whether your current number of Blue Prism licenses is sufficient to cover the SLA which you put in RPA Supervisor. And you can put very strict SLA at this moment because you want to see whether your current setting is actually sufficiently big to cover the SLA which the business may require. So this is for the SLA. You add this information to the task, like in the second step. And the last step is when you want to report benefit, you just define what is time saved per item when done by the bot. And if it is completed, there might be different time. And if it is referred, there might be different time. And these simple parameters will do the calculations of the benefits which actually robots brought to your business department. So that was all concerning RPA Supervisor. As I was saying, the reporting may be very easy and free, and it could be excellent starting point for everybody who is thinking how to actually transform the manual RPA management into more sophisticated approach through RPA Supervisor.